Now, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home in Spring Hill, Florida, then stay tuned. I am going to give you the 5 pros and the 5 cons of living in Spring Hill, Florida as a resident of 19 years moving here from the UK. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's dive into it. Now, like I said, we're going to be taking a deeper look at the 5 pros and the 5 cons of living in Spring Hill, Florida, and I've tried to be as unbiased as possible. Now, I do love where I live, but it's not perfect, nowhere is. And then depending on where you're coming from and what you're used to, some of these things that I consider a pro or consider a con, you might not necessarily agree with. So it's all in the eye of the beholder, but please settle in. I'm going to give you the 5 pros and 5 cons right now. Now, let's start off with pro number 1. And that is that there is every single type of home you could even imagine in Spring Hill, Florida. So I'm thinking about single family homes from 700 square foot to 7,000 square foot and every single thing in between. There's also mobile and manufactured homes as well, if that's more your speed, on a little bit more land even. There's gated communities, there's golf course communities, there's deed restricted communities that are non-gated. There's areas of Spring Hill where there's no deed restrictions whatsoever. You can be on a lakefront property, you can back onto a drainage retention area so there's no rear neighbor. There are communities with all sorts of amenities in them. So basically every single taste of home is accounted for in Spring Hill, and the beauty is that the price point is not too high either, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit later in the video. Now, there's also a new build explosion happening in Spring Hill at the moment, so if it's a brand new home that you're looking for, we've got you covered there as well. Basically, let us know what sort of home you're looking for and we will find it for you. It's sure to be out there. But however, with all of that new building going on, I'm going to move into con number 1, the not so good part of that. And that is that a lot of people who have been here for any period of time are saying that Spring Hill's really starting to get overcrowded and overbuilt. Now, like I said, I've been here for 19 years myself, and for sure, I've seen a lot of changes happening during that time. It's certainly not the Spring Hill that I moved to 19 years ago. And I'm okay with that, but a lot of people are not. Now, if you're coming from somewhere else that's a larger city, then Spring Hill's probably not going to feel overpopulated to you. There's about 110,000 people here, but it is a bone of contention very much with the locals at the moment. Now, while it's certainly not as quiet as, say, Hernando Beach or Brooksville, which are very, very close by, it's certainly not as built up as, say, Wesley Chapel, and certainly not Tampa. They're two completely different styles. So again, it's going to be up to your judgment, but a lot of locals are very upset that they feel like Spring Hill is getting overbuilt. Now, pro number 2, as I just mentioned before, is going to be the affordability. So while Tampa has been one of the hottest markets in the country over the last 4 or 5 years and seen home prices soar, Spring Hill has remained relatively affordable compared to areas around it such as Tampa and such as Wesley Chapel, which are real hotspots for people moving in. Now, it's especially good when you consider that because of the increase in inventory at the moment, at the time of making this video in 2024, we are seeing a lot of sellers offering closing cost concessions or buying down the rate for the buyer. So there's also a lot more to be gained on that side of things as well. Now, what I'm going to do is dive into the screen here and show you a couple of listings, that's a couple of different price points, so you can see what sort of value for money you get on these. All right, guys, I just want to show you a couple of different options for properties in Spring Hill. Again, prices are always subject to change, and this is just a couple of the examples, but you'll see here, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2020 square foot home. It's not in a gated community or an HOA. Built in 2003. It's listed for $329,500. So just gives you a little idea as to what $300,000 might get you. This is in kind of a generic Spring Hill neighborhood. Kitchen's been updated a little bit. But again, you can see the sort of style of home that it is. And that's one option. You could also move into something that's a gated community. So this is one that's actually closing very soon here. This is in Sterling Hill. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, a little bit larger, 24, 22 square foot, gated community, deed restricted, community pool, kids play area, stuff like that. This one has a pool as well. So this one's actually going to sell a little over what the asking price was. But again, it'll give you an idea. Most of these homes were built in 05, 06. Granite countertops, open family room, the main suite here. So again, that would be kind of the next level up as far as homes go. Let's find a beautiful pool. There you go. And then you can move into a gated golf course community. This is one I just sold a few months back. This is a cabana style home. So you walk in through these doors here and it immediately leads you into this courtyard where the pool is in the middle and the home is built around it. So definitely a different style of property. But this is in Silverthorne. This sold for $480,000. So a slightly higher price point, has a clubhouse, community center, restaurant, bar, and lots of amenities. So that's kind of an overview. There are less expensive options, more expensive options, but that's kind of a broad overview of the homes in Spring Hill. And now I want to talk about con number 2. So despite all of the development that's going on in the Spring Hill area, it's still lacking certain necessities for some people. And really, and that's in regards to the stores and the options there. So for example, we don't really have a bookstore in Spring Hill, which I find kind of bizarre. I love reading a good book, and so I have to go to Tampa to go to a Barnes & Noble for that. There's really nothing local as far as that goes. And there's really none of the big department stores either. So if you're thinking about Macy's or Nordstrom's or anything like that, you're probably gonna have to go to Wesley Chapel or to Tampa for that, which is not a far drive, but it just would be nice to have that a little bit more on the doorstep. The type of stores we have here are more in line with the Marshalls, the TJ Maxx, and those types of stores, which you can get some great bargains at, don't get me wrong, but for a little higher end shopping experience, you are going to be going a little bit further afield to try and find that. Anyway, moving right along, let's talk about pro number 3, and that is that there's so much to do in Spring Hill. Now, the locals might complain that it feels like there's nothing to do, but having been here again for 19, 20 years, there's so many more options than there were when I first moved here, and having kids has definitely put a different perspective on that for me. Now I've started to explore some of the other areas that we have for our Discover Spring Hill Facebook page and get out and about on the town and see some of these things. So there's going to be parks. You can go to Anderson Snow Park, where they're just building a splash pad at the moment. They have the kids' playground, they have baseball fields, soccer fields, pavilions that you can rent out. There's also a couple of other parks in town that have similar amenities. There's a brand new altitude trampoline park, which is just awesome. The kids love that, and some of the adults might like it too. So definitely check that out. There's the go-karts on County Line Road, which are really, really fun. There's the Locomo skate rink, which is just old school fun. If you remember the skate nights from when you were younger, it very much has that feel. I absolutely love it. It's so retro for the adults, but they also have great kids specials there as well. And then if you're a little bit older and it's a little bit slower pace for you, check out the Spring Hill Nature Coast Botanical Gardens. I went 15 years of living here without even knowing that existed, and I love that spot now, just to kind of walk around for half an hour and be at peace with your thoughts, take a little picnic. So some really, really great options. You can learn how to make wine. You can go to a winery. There's breweries in town. There's plenty of food trucks as well. Plug for my Hernando County Food Lovers Facebook page. So there's all of these things happening, and then don't forget we're right on the coast here as well. We're 10 minutes from Hernando Beach and Weeki Wachee, so you can do kayaks, you can rent boats, you can do jet skis, you can go on the river. There's all sorts of fun activities to do in Spring Hill or right around it. Add in the cinema, add in the golf courses, add in the state forests and state parks where you can take out four-wheelers. There's really all sorts of stuff to do, a lot of it outside because, hey, we're in Florida, but you can do it all and still never run out of options. You can even take in a mermaid show at the Weeki Wachee State Park. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up online. It's a hoot and you will love it. So plenty of stuff to do. Be sure to check them out and follow us for more options on that. So hey guys, as you probably know by now, I'm a real estate agent with a team here locally in Spring Hill. We've been selling homes here for almost 20 years now, and we've helped about 2,000 families buy or sell in the Spring Hill and Brooksville area. So if you have any questions at all, whether you're looking to do something in 9 days or 109 days, please reach out to me. We love talking about our local area, helping people along the way, and finding uncovered gems as well as finding their dream home. You can contact us in the information below. All right, guys, so right back at it, and now we're gonna move right into con number 3, and that is the humidity. Now I'm recording this video at the beginning of June in 2024, and already driving in here, it's 96 degrees outside. We went to the Watermelon Festival yesterday and it was so hot, and the humidity hasn't even kicked in yet. The summer months are almost unbearable, but I guess you pick your poison, because I would rather deal with the heat in the summer than deal with the snow in the winter. So again, some people might love that. Some people are going to consider it absolutely unbearable, but the humidity really is something else here. Unless you've experienced it, you won't really get an appreciation for what I'm talking about. Now it lasts about 4 or 5 months in the summer, kind of cools down around about October time maybe. So like I said, just limit the amount of time you go outside during those months really. And like I said, is it as bad as snow in the winter? I mean, I don't know, but I would rather put up with the heat in the summer than the snow in the winter, like I said. So again, depending where you're from, pick your poison. But for me, I do consider that to be a con because it is so unbearable. Now, pro number 4, I'm going to choose this one because I'm a foodie, is that over the last 19 years, it's become a real melting pot culturally here in Spring Hill, which has really kind of grown the food scene and given us a lot more options. So when I first came here, I used to think it was all Applebee's and Chili's and those generic chain restaurants. And then I kind of got out and started exploring a little bit more and stumbling across some real great mom and pop places. It's kind of what prompted me to start my Hernando County Food Lovers page where I'm reviewing local mom and pop places, so check that out on Facebook. But we really have some great choices here for food now. So Indian food truck, awesome pizza. I mean, literally the best I've tasted anywhere in Florida. We have Italian, Greek, there's Jamaican food, Polish, there's Spanish, Italian fusion, fresh seafood, there's Belgian French right across the road here. One of the best fine dining experiences I've had anywhere in Florida. So really an emerging food scene. Now, of course, it's not going to be on par with anywhere like Tampa, where they have now got some great Michelin star restaurants, but for everyday choices, the choices have increased exponentially over the last 19 years, and there are some really awesome places that you can check out. Like I said, follow the Facebook page, get more options, but some really, really solid choices away from the chain restaurants. Now, con number 4, in keeping with the weather again, like the last one, is gonna be the hurricane season. So you probably see it on the news every single year that Florida is sat on the edge of its seat waiting for hurricanes to either come inland or go up the coast, and we're kind of waiting to see what happens with it. And yeah, that's part of everyday life of Floridians in the summer, in the hurricane season, and you do have to put up with it. Now, I will say over the 19 years that I've been here, I've kind of become a little bit more blasé to it. It doesn't bother me as much as it did. However, in the last couple of years, we've had some pretty close calls where I got a little bit nervous for sure, especially when you have kids and if you're not used to it. So be aware that the hurricane season is here, it's real, and it can be a little scary sometimes. Now, we have managed to avoid any big ones here in Spring Hill for the last 30 or 40 years, but rest assured, one day it's coming and it's going to be bad. So I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't point out the hurricane risk of being here. Now, pro number 5 is, guys, it's Florida. So I live where people vacation. It's a fact that's not lost on me. I mean, in 10, 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right here, I can go hop on a boat, go out to the Gulf of Mexico, and boat around with dolphins swimming up next to the side of the boat. I can go launch a kayak in the Weeki Wachee River and see manatees swimming by me. I can go fishing, scalloping. I mean, there's so many things to do. There's really great wildlife here. The Weeki Wachee Preserve is awesome for bird watching. So guys, it's literally where people vacation, and only an hour from Tampa, an hour and 30 minutes from Orlando and Disney and all that that has to offer. It's really centrally located for getting just about anywhere in the state. I really couldn't ask for more as far as that goes for living here. But con number 5, and this might scare you more than all of the other ones, is sinkholes. I'm sure you've heard about them. I'm sure you've seen them on the news where sinkholes swallow up entire homes into the ground. And the simple fact is that yes, that does happen. Now again, that's not happened here in Spring Hill. I'm thinking really of the one down in Sefna that swallowed the house with the guy inside. But we have had about 4,500 reported sinkhole properties in Spring Hill to varying degrees. Now the vast majority of those have been stabilized, and sinkhole can really mean a whole different number of things, which talk to a local, they'll give you a different opinion every single time on it because everyone has their own input on it. But sinkholes are real, and this is an area that's kind of prevalent for them. So you may find when you start looking at homes that a property might be a repaired sinkhole home. That might put you off, and that's okay. I've lived in unrepaired sinkhole homes, I've lived in repaired sinkhole homes, I've lived in homes that are non-sinkhole homes, and quite frankly, I haven't noticed the difference. But just because I feel that way doesn't mean that's how you have to feel. So do your research online, talk to locals, we can put you in touch with experts locally, and make your own decision. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for the pros and cons of Spring Hill. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope it gave you a little bit more information as to what life might be like living here. Please be sure to leave a comment below and let me know if there's any additional ones you think I should do when I update this video. I try and do one every single year. But I think that's pretty much the 5 pros and cons as I see them personally, although I'm always open to other opinions. And be sure to follow along on our channel for all of the best news and videos regarding living in Tampa Bay, Wesley Chapel, Spring Hill, Brooksville, Hernando Beach, and beyond. I'm talking about cost of living, pros and cons, best neighborhoods to live, best things to do. We want to cover all of it for you and be your resource for anything local to Spring Hill and Brooksville. Be sure to hit the bell. Be sure to watch our new videos when they're released. Be sure to like this video and comment below. I'm Ross Hardy from the Hardy team. It's time to love where you live.